Hey everyone, welcome back to Old World Legends. I'm your host Mike, and with me as always is Evan.
Dragon Ogre Shagath Evan. Very
Well,
relevant
that's
for
definitely
today's
appropriate.
topic.
Yeah, let's dive into it. So Beastmen, GW is showing us Beastmen are on the way. They're revealed.
Hmm.
It's exciting. They're here. The journal, the models. Woo! Here we go.
I think
Finally,
the
people can get
big
their hands on these.
surprise is how soon after the Wood Elf, their release, like they haven't even gotten no one who's haven't gotten their models yet, right? So
Well, it
they're
kind of
already doing
feels
this.
like I think Beastmen were supposed to be released first, and then they probably had some shipping or manufacturing issues, and so they're like, "Oh, we got to have Wood Elves go first." And so I think they sorted out their shipping and manufacturing issues. So it's boom, Beastmen right away. But I think to your point, we're getting them both pretty quick. I mean, I guess Empire was the beginning of the year, right? And
Yeah.
then I think we're getting our spring and summer releases kind of back to back rather than more spaced out, right? So I think we're not going to see the next release until the fall after this.
See, you say that, but Little Bird has told me that the Cathay pre-order is like in July.
Well, we'll see. That's a different video. We're talking about Beastmen here, Evan. So let's dive in. I love that cover art. Those looks pretty.
Yeah.
I really love that they actually made proper cover art for the Arcane journals. Thank you, GW, for doing that. Please keep doing that. I love seeing it.
Real men don't need shirts.
What you do need axes and or horns. They do leather straps though. Leather straps are in.
Also, real men don't need eye holes on their little headdresses.
Yeah, I don't know that beastmen would be considered real men, but I guess that's a perspective.
Real
Maybe they view
beastmen.
it the
Real
other way
beastmen
around.
don't need eye holes. I love it on the Skaven too when they have the cloak that covers their face and they're like,
Hmm.
and there's that meme where the guy goes, "Bro, I cannot see." It's just so funny.
Well, he's got his third eye. He doesn't need to see with his real eyes. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got
But
like a little
wow.
like cow like tag earring thing. I love that. That's
Hmm.
great. Look
Yeah,
at
well,
that
I mean,
on the sorcerer guy on the left. He's in his ears. He's got these little earrings that look a lot like the cowbells that would be in their ears.
yeah, but I mean, you just got to own it. All
Yes.
right, cool. So let's dive in. What do we got? What's GW showing us?
Well, to be honest, this is a lot of the stuff we've seen already. We've got the Arcane
Okay.
Journal. It's talking about Kral
Yep.
Ma, Prophet of the Ruin, and I don't know if people already knew this or not, but Goros Warhoof, who is a Centaur character. Those are the two named characters in this book.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, there's going to be an Arcane Journal. Everyone knew that. They've
Hmm.
got the battalion pictured here, and we knew what's going to be
Okay.
in the battalion. It's an amazing start for a Beastman army. In order for me to get mine started, I basically had to buy everything in this list, but from AOS kits, and it cost a lot more. I got two of
Hmm.
the AOS Vanguard boxes, which gave me 20 gore, 20 ungore, so not as many of those guys,
Yeah.
and then
Hmm.
one of these things. So
It's a really good value. It really is.
yeah, yeah, and then essentially had to kind of build out from there. And the AOS kits were a lot more expensive, so this is a great deal. I think that Gore and Ungore are both very much staple units from the Beastman roster. Ungore are like you got like 5 point per model like short bow guys who are great as little wizard bunkers or as chariot runner screens or as just I just let them die. Who cares? I don't know. They're really cheap. Like
Hmm.
and then the Gore are some of the best infantry in the game, I think, because they're just so cheap for what they do and they're so versatile. And most people just take 25 and stick them in a block with a Doombo in there, but you don't have to do that. No one's forcing you to
No,
do that. You can do all kinds of stuff with these guys. They're great. I think little squads
I
running
think
around is great.
I think for me, just the base units, not the beast gores, but just the what are the base beast unit called?
Sorry, I was drinking water. It's just the Gore. That's just what they're called. They're just
Gore.
Gore.
Thank you. The
Mm-hmm.
gore. Yeah, I always get confused. I love those models.
Yeah.
They are they're just iconic. They're super cool. They got just enough poses in them. I think they're just a fantastic model. And I love seeing them on the
They're
battlefield.
very muscly, and they've got a lot of
Mhm.
choppy weapons. They look
They
great.
don't have a lot. They don't do a lot besides run around and punch things. I guess they lift weights in the woods. Maybe they're lifting rocks. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you compare like the Gore for what they're doing to like the Marauders, the Chaos Marauders, I mean, yeah, Marauders
Mhm.
can get flails, but the Gore are just like I just have a bajillion attacks and I have like the reroll ones and I'm toughness 4 and they're very fast. I love movement 5 on infantry. It really makes a huge difference for your charge range and you're able to ability to kind of march around the table. The fact that you
Oh
can
yeah.
go back and forth between open order and skirmish is super fun. I think they're
Hmm.
a great Swiss Army knife unit. and perfect for just I have hordes upon hordes of dudes. I think that Greg, the last
Yep,
time we saw him at the tournament, he brought 70 of them.
it was a lot. It was awesome. I love that list.
Yeah, you can have a Gorgon or a Cygor. The Cygor is super iconic looking and
Mhm.
terrible in the rules because he's toughness 5 for some reason. And then the Gorgon
Yep.
is much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same time, make the model that you love to play, and if you want to proxy it for the other, just tell your opponent.
That's
And
I
there
was
you go.
literally
Boom,
just
boom, boom,
thinking
boom, you
about
got it.
how I want to make a Gorgon and then just say, yeah, it's another or make a
Yeah.
Cygor and say, yeah, it's just another Gorgon, whatever.
Use the models you love. That is always my advice to players, right? Because you need to love it. If you want to build it, buy it, build it, assemble it, paint it, put it on the battlefield, it's got to be a model you're passionate about. So just proxy for the other one if you want to. So, the Prophet of Ruin, great
So what's
model.
interesting about Kralmaw is that he's a special character who's a wizard, and so
Hmm.
far the special characters who are wizards are some of the more viable ones in terms of a lot of different play because they can have a lot of different abilities that just add on to being, hey, I'm a wizard, but I also do this other stuff. Like for example,
Hmm.
Elise Duchard has a great
Hmm.
dispel ability, and if he is almost like the
He does.
opposite, like if every double he rolls is like an automatic cast, that would be amazing, right? It says here that he
That's
has
too
mastery of
powerful.
dark and primal magic. That's cool. I know that
Ooh, Primal Magic.
so Beastmen are getting a new spell lore, just like Wood Elves. Very
What we
excited about
don't
that.
know is that a full fleshed out
It
lore, or
is.
is that just some signature spells?
It's 7
Oh, you
spells.
believe it's a full
Yes.
lore?
Yes.
Ooh, spicy. And he's got a cool familiar because I love that they keep releasing familiars with the wizards. I just
Yes,
keep doing that. I love it.
I saw a several page long deep, Reddit rabbit hole where people were thinking that this familiar guy is Morgur who's been respawned. Um,
Ooh,
So he's
maybe.
because Morgur, the Shadowgrave, he kind of dies every once in a while and then comes back to life and
He
gets
does.
reborn into a new body. So people are
Hmm.
theorizing that this is going to be that this little dude right here is actually going to be Morgur someday, and
Who
Kralmaw's
knows?
teaching him
Maybe.
his ways. Like it's like
Maybe in
Baby
addition
Yoda,
to.
like an evil
Hmm.
one.
Sweet.
Um, I think this model is super interesting. I love the little claw hand of being like,
Hmm.
rawr.
I mean, if you're a wizard and casting spells, that's the hand gesture I'd make. Ah,
So
it's cool.
also there's some rumors that this little familiar is actually going to have rules, and it talked about here that you
Oh,
can cast spells from further away using the familiar. Um,
you mean like the Dark Elf rules?
yeah, similar to a focus familiar from Dark Elves. I think there is something about that, and focus familiar in Dark Elves is insanely good. And if you were able to
Oh,
cast that with the
oh
magic
yeah.
missiles, for example, and the Beastmen have,
Hmm.
their only weakness is
Hmm.
shorter range. So if they have that,
Hmm.
they're going nuts.
I'm super excited for this Arcane Journal. This army is already strong without it. I think this is going to make them really exciting. I can't wait.
Yes. Um, So we have these returning models here. I've got this one on the right, this Beast Lord. This was actually an AOS model that is now rebranded Old World, which is like, yeah, we got one. Mission
Okay,
accomplished.
AOS model. No, this was temporarily parked over in
No, no, no.
AOS
I'm
until the
saying
return
this
of
was one
Old
of the
World
only
came back.
things that was released for AOS for
It's okay.
the whatever they call them, the Beasts of Chaos. That's what they're called. And then it
Hmm.
was rebranded back. So it never came out for 8th edition. This was an
Yeah,
AOS model.
but
It's
it's
really
also
cool.
possible this was something that was sculpted quite some time ago, and
This
they
is
only
possible, yeah.
released it when it was an AOS. But that being said, I am a firm believer that its destiny was always back at Old World, and so it was just temporarily, redistributed to AOS until it returned home.
This Doombull is a guy who I really, really need. I need this guy. Um, yeah, I have a model, but I like this dude way more, so I want him.
Is he still in metal? I remember when he
It
was metal.
says these are. Let's see. They're coming back in resin, so this guy's gonna be a
Okay,
resin one. Yeah,
back in wrestling, good because it was way too heavy when it was all metal.
yeah. We've got infantry here. We've got the Ungore kit and the
Love it.
Gore kit. Nice deal.
So cool.
I bought a box of 10 Gore a year ago for like $60, and this is a 30-man kit that's probably gonna be 80.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good deal. You can't beat the price, that's for sure.
Vestigore, I one of my favorite units in the Beastman roster. Love these dudes.
They're really good.
I don't know. I think just elite infantry are just my happy place.
And they look really cool too.
Yeah, and I also really need some more of these dudes. The
Yep.
Minotaurs.
Can't go
Love
wrong with
them.
the Minotaurs. Yeah, super cool.
So we're also seeing them bring back the cockatrice.
Mm-hmm.
the Gorgon
It's
and
a good,
slash
it's a
Cygor.
good model, the cockatrice. Again, we've rarely seen it on the battlefield, so I'm hoping we'll see what they do with it and such. We still haven't really seen it in this edition yet, but it's a great model.
It's
It's one of
like,
my favorite older beast models.
yeah, it's really, really cool. I
Hmm.
think that it would be super fun to bring it if it was like 70 points, and for some reason it's 170 points, and I don't understand
Yeah,
that
it
whatsoever.
well,
It's like a Tomb
hopefully,
Scorpion, you know?
again, holding out hope that we're going to see a balance update at some point in 2025.
And then here, I love this guy. This is the Jabberslythe. Horrifyingly
Hmm.
ugly, and it has rules about
Hmm.
how ugly it is. That's great. So,
I remember when it first came out back in Fantasy, it was the coolest thing, but it didn't have great rules then. It's still its rules are okay right now, but I think it's just overcosted. So I'd love to see this on the battlefield. I've never actually seen one in person, so hopefully we'll see that with this edition.
I might make that happen. I like that thing.
Good. I'd love to see it. It's so cool.
It's also really there is a meta around bringing units that the other person has no idea what they do because you can tell them,
Hmm.
but even if you tell them, they won't be prepared, and then they're going to be like,
Because
"Wait,
they don't
that's
have
what it
any.
did."
eh, They have no reps against it. That's totally a
Exactly.
thing. And if you want to do a
Exactly.
monster mash, Beastman is one of the best armies to do a monster mash with for sure.
Yeah, and your collection will be a bunch of ugly ass things.
You mean amazing things because they look so cool.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this thing's incredibly ugly, and I finally feel represented in Warhammer.
I want you to paint it. I want to see it painted.
Ugh. So yeah, so these are all forged with resin. The Cyro
Okay.
kit is a multi-part kit. It's in plastic. It's great. Lots of nice cool bits there. Then
Yeah,
we've
the new
got
resin is definitely better. Yeah.
yeah, we've got some metal stuff here. So this is Goros Warhoof on the left, and then a regular Warhoof. Um,
Some old models. Woo!
I'm super interested to find out what they're gonna do with because the Warhoof is a really interesting character. He's like 80 points or something for like a 3 wound guy, which is actually pretty rare.
Hmm.
Most of those kind of level point models are 2 wounds only. And
Two wounds. Yeah.
if we have a character who's like a better version of that, I would love that because I really like Senegor. I find them very
Hmm.
exciting to bring.
Hmm.
Not these models. They're a little old. I think you could kit bash some gore with spears, and then just
You totally
a
could do
chaos
some really
warhound
cool.
body.
Yeah, you could get really creative. Again, there's lots of things you could kit bash or proxy with it if you're not into. Some people love the old models. Again, they still have a lot of personality and such. But yeah, definitely on the older side of things. Oh, that
Yeah, and the
chariot.
chariots
Wow,
are
I
too.
remember that.
Most people have
Hmm.
3D printed models for chariots because again, these metal ones they haven't been around to buy for
Long
like
time.
I don't think even in late 8th edition. I don't know if they even had them around or in stock. So like it's been a
I remember
while.
Beastmen weren't competitive for a long, long time, so we just didn't see them a lot.
Also, this dude, his little eye that he's looking at you with, that
It's
is
all about
something
that paint
else.
job. That paint job that the guy put the eye like that in particular
That is horrifying.
definitely makes, yeah, like he's bugging out. You
That
can paint
is
him however you
scary.
want. Hmm.
Yeah, and
I
they're all
wouldn't want that
spiky.
charging me. Ooh.
And then we get to see the dice.
They're
I
pretty good, aren't they? Right?
Yeah, I like the symbol. I just really
Yeah.
wish that the color on the inside wasn't white, but maybe like mustardy yellow or something. I don't know. That's just me.
It'd make it harder to read though, and such. But I definitely love
Oh,
the gem type of dice and the symbol. I think on the six is great. Again, I don't like all the dice sets for Old World, but I think this is a pretty good one.
yes. I was just thinking about you remember the squig dice? How they were bouncy and
Yeah.
rubbery?
Don't no
No,
no bad
you know what?
Evan bad
Mike,
bad
Mike,
no no.
furry dice.
Oh,
They gotta have static grass on the outside. They're all furry.
you are not allowed to make dice ever with
I
ideas like
wait,
that.
wait. I could get dice,
No
right? And I could apply glue, and then I could roll it in the static
no
grass, and then they
no
will be.
no no. Oh my God, let's move on. Worst idea.
It's a great idea. I'm doing it. I'm gonna make my opponent pick
Horrible.
them up too, and be like, "Here, you have this
No,
on you."
no, no. Bad, Evan. All right, moving on. Awesome dice
I'm
there.
definitely not gonna call
Not
them the
Evan's
butthole
dice.
dice.
No. Okay, moving on. Okay, so we got through the Beastman stuff, and there's actually a few more things that GW is sprinkling in,
Yeah.
which is great to see them catching up on some of the other releases. That's awesome. So we got some High Elves and some Wood Elves. Is this one? I think this is a Wood Elf one.
You know, I have no idea.
I'm not sure. Does it
I
have a
think you could
does
use
it have
it
a
as
name on
either.
it? Doesn't give a name. Yeah, it's a cool model. Well, those are definitely Wood Elves. Yep.
Yeah, I think this is a wood elf.
Hmm. I
The
think
wood
that's
elves.
on Mount. Yeah,
You see
these are
how
sorcerers, right?
there's no bridle on the horse and bit.
That makes
That
sense.
means
That
it's a
feels
wood
like Wood
elf. So
Elf.
they don't use any kind of horse wrangling. The horse just goes.
That's some classic models, right? You want to get your
Yeah,
hands on those?
I have never seen these before, which is fun. I like getting to see things I've never seen before.
I have,
Um,
but I've seen most of these not on the table. Do you remember the old catalog back in the day?
I my days were
I
after there was I never saw a
Oh
catalog of
my God,
things.
I'd love for those of you who are old school like myself and remember the bits wagon and then the catalog. They literally at one point because you could bits order all the individual bits back in the day, but this is before they had a website, a robust website that made it easy. So that at one point, you remember just like a mall or something that released their magazine. So GW for a few years released the catalog, and it was thick and it had hundreds of pages and it literally had pictures of every single possible bit and metal model that you could actually order. It was the coolest thing ever. So I've never seen a lot of these models in person, but I spent hours and hours and hours flipping through that catalog. It was so much fun. Oh, God, I
Mhm.
really wish I still had it. I'm super bummed that I don't anymore.
And they are
Because
appealing to
great.
people like you who may have loved a certain model and had it years ago, could
Mhm.
have lost it, could have broken it or something, been like,
Or never got my hands on it.
yeah, or never gotten to buy it, and been like, wow, I really want that. And for me, that's something like the High Elf Lore Master of Hoeth model. That's the one that I really, really want. But for someone who maybe,
Mhm.
got started a couple decades earlier, this is the model they really want. And guess what? They're going to be there for you, so you can order them, and then those people who really want them get to have them. And that's super cool they're doing that. They don't need to do
Yeah,
that.
super cool because honestly, even with their prices, they're selling, I think, not a ton of
The
these
metals
old
are a
mill
lot
order models.
cheaper as well than the plastic
Yeah.
guys, so they're
Hmm.
not like,
Yep. So I'm surprised.
yeah,
But that being said, I'm really happy that they're doing it. It's
yeah.
really cool.
Anyway, that's all we have for the old world releases. It goes on to talk about the Middle Earth stuff from here
Wow. Let's
onwards.
not talk
So
about that. We're just talking about the
yeah,
old world. So yeah, exciting. So Beastmen revealed coming out real soon. It looks like the pre-order for those are going to be in the next couple weeks, which is exciting. So we're going to see both Wood Elves and Beastmen coming to a tabletop near you with GW model ranges. So exciting in the very near future. That's amazing. Evan, any last thoughts before we close this one out?
stay legendary.
All right, we'll see you next time.